I've pretty much had enough of seeing all over TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. A lot of your creators have picked it up as well. I'm not really a creator, I just say whatever's in my head and I don't edit anything and I don't whatever. But these so-called feminists screaming blue murder because they don't get men. Men aren't, there's good men, why won't men date me? Oh, this man won't pay for me. Well, of course he's not going to pay for you. Why should he? Life isn't going to just, nobody's going to just pay for you. Well, it doesn't work like that. See, the problem is this new generation of feminists, this modern feminism that seems to have creeped in and spread itself along the social medias, web, and whatever, that doesn't make sense, but it did in my head, but it's spread itself about, because it spread itself about like a spider a bit, web, when they build their webs. Did make sense in my head, didn't quite make sense when I said it, but kind of knew what I meant. Well, I did, don't know if you did, but anyway. Carry on. But they put it all out there and it's spread wildfire. That's a better analogy. Spread like wildfire. Much better analogy. They shove it all over the internet and it spread. They shit all over men, all over them. They degrade them, they belittle them, they treat them like dirt, they tell them they have no rights, they shouldn't have rights as fathers, they don't like being dads, they don't have the right to choose if they're a dad, they like to baby trap them, ha 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 ha, and then they want to date them. But, big but here, they then have these standards. Men don't like the fact that women have standards. No, you don't. Women don't have standards. And they certainly don't have your standards. Because if that's a standard for a date, everyone's in trouble. Everyone. The concept that a guy has to have a 6-figure salary, drive a car, a nice car, and pay for your entire life, be willing to pay for your whole life before you'd even consider dating him? Bollocks to that. Doesn't want to date you because you're fucking batshit crazy. See, the thing is, feminism shouldn't be a war. You so-called feminists, this new generation of feminists that have hit the internet claiming that feminism is this, feminism, it's not as toxic. You've started a war that was never there. Take a look at your history. The history of what feminism really is. Take it back to the suffragettes. 100 years. 100 fucking years. And you will see, I mean, even before that, women never hated men. I mean, even before the suffragettes started, women never hated men. There was never a war between sexes. Not ever a war between them. There was never been a war between the genders. Not ever. Before the suffragettes came into play, there was an inequality that women didn't like. By the turn of the 20th century, women were beginning to gain some rights and some ability to function in society alongside men. We were being seen as intelligent and capable and independent. Men were becoming slightly afraid of the fact that we were as clever as they were. And in some cases, there were women in there that were cleverer than them. Something that was never seen before, something nobody had seen before, because women weren't allowed to show that before. So as we turn into the 20th century, you've got this almost like it's sort of social inequality going on, where men are confused and they don't know how to react. And you can see it through history. You see it in the books, you can see it in reenactments, you can see it through the history of the turn of the century as King Edward, pretty sure it's King Edward, hits the throne. And women's rights kind of came into play. And as women became more confident, men didn't know how to react to that. So they began to band together a bit more. And women saw that as you saw it, that there was this surge in women. They felt more powerful, and men felt insecure. They didn't know how to react because they'd always been the breadwinners, they'd always been the ones who protected their women, and they were always the ones that felt like they understood how society worked, and all of a sudden society was changing around them. And women were becoming more independent, more capable, more in charge of their own lives. And so as they became more independent, they wanted more rights. And there was an inequality going on in society. As they pushed for more rights, men were afraid of it. And they were afraid. It's not like they didn't want it or they were trying to really just stop it completely. The governments were. The governments were very much against this, because the one thing they didn't want was women in power in the offices, because it took away everything that they thought was correct. So as the suffragettes kind of moved towards this right to vote, this right to have that kind of say, it changed the world. It changed how men viewed women. They weren't these meek, mild, cheeky little things anymore that only showed their strength inside the home behind closed doors, where men knew what they were getting. They were happy that women inside the home were strong and independent wives and whatever else, but outside they could be strong and independent and be seen as strong and independent, you know. But now their wives were being seen for who they truly were, and they were feeling insecure. So the feminist movement, once we gained that right to vote and we were beginning to gain these independences, the feminist movement took off. But what it did was it kind of went along the lines of, we want to gain equality. We want these men to feel secure with us. We don't want to take over. We just want to be the same. Take a look. So when you sit there all over fucking social media, sit all over your fucking TikToks, going, men are evil, they should be DBS checked and they should be in therapy before they even get into relationships. They should have a curfew because we're not safe on the streets. Rah, 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 rah. Men are dangerous, men are this, men are this. Rah, 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 rah. You're starting a war. And then you're sitting there going, why won't men date me? Men won't pay for everything. Why won't men pay for everything? Because we've got standards and they don't like it. And then you go all up in the air and you get all fucking uppity because what? You believe you have a standard for dating? after starting a war with men, you sit on your fucking phone shouting at social media, shouting to the whole of the fucking world that men are shit, men are dangerous, men are evil. Men are so evil, we can't even go running. We can't walk in the street, we can't leave our homes. If we go out if we meet a man in a bar, he's going to date rape us. We can't do anything because men are so evil. And then you go, I've got standards and men doesn't like it. And now they won't date me, boo hoo hoo. You're starting a war with men and then you want to date them with your what? With your, I'm not independent, I can't take care of myself. Because that's how you come across, by the way. Because he's got to pay for the dates and he's got to pay for your hair and your nails and your lifestyle. And he's got to have 6 figures and a fancy car. Buy everything. And buy all your little treats and you do this. Because you're just a weak, wild little woman who doesn't do anything. And oh my God, look at me. You're coming across as a spoiled little fucking brat who hates men and needs to be taken care of because you have no brain. That is how you come across to men. In fact, that's how you come across, full stop. You so-called new wave of feminists, you modern day feminists, come across as man-hating bitches who then try to date the men that you hate so that you can not think, not be independent, not stand on your own 2 feet, not pay for another thing for the rest of your life, be gold-digging cows and never work again. You set the movement back completely. It's like it never even existed. In fact, you set women back. My God, even before the movement, we were never at war with men. Take a look at the history. We've never been at war. We were at war with the government. Never at men. Government. Not men. There were men in the government because men were in the government. We were not at war with men. The feminist movement was about equality. It's always been about equality. It was about standing side by side. It was about being independent, being strong, being capable, being smart, bright women who could stand on their own 2 feet, who didn't need a man. But it was also about the fact that we loved men. We cared about them. We didn't want to overpower them. We just wanted to be like them, capable as them. We wanted to show that we were able as them. And you've twisted it to your own sick agenda. Somebody has hurt you. Or you toxic, you are toxic feminists. That's all you are. You are completely toxic. You so-called feminists who are spouting this shit all over the internet, stating that, men must pay for your first date, and if he wants 50-50, he's evil, he's this, nah. You're toxic. And you're waging a war that was never there. Never. Because that's not feminism. It's never been feminism. So whoever's hurt all you fucking idiots who are sitting all over social media, degrading, belittling and whatever, shitting all over men and then trying to date them. Deal with your trauma. Seriously. Take a good look in the mirror. Seriously. Take a good hard look in the mirror. Deal with your trauma. Read a book about what the suffragettes did. Because, yeah, they died. And they died fighting the government. The actual government. And the men, they did. They all thought they were idiots. Because, quite frankly, they were. What they did and the things they got up to, they went about it the wrong way. And we all know it. All of us know it. But what they fought for was equality, not division. Equality, not division. They didn't want to be separate. They didn't want to divide. They wanted equality. Feminism isn't about division. It's about equality. It's about standing together. It isn't about waging a war, which is what you're doing. And it's ridiculous. You can't wage a war and then expect to date the people you're waging a war on. Oh, and then get upset because they don't want to date you. It makes no sense. You lot make no sense. I don't get it. Why are you waging a war on an entire gender, trying to date them with your ridiculous issues by being a gold digger and a bimbo and a brainless, brainless bimbo, ridiculously enough, yeah, by being a brainless bimbo and a gold digger. And then when it doesn't work, shock horror, get really upset because men, how dare they not like your standards? I mean, there are men on the other side of this as well, because you've got the Andrew Tates of the world. Maybe you should date the Andrew Tates of the world. That'll solve everything for you, won't it? I mean, the Andrew Tates of the world, they'll control you. You won't ever have to think again. You can be as brainless as you like with them. They've got all the money. They've got everything you could ever want, realistically. They're narcissistic, sociopathic sometimes, I think. They hate women just as much as you hate men. They have impossibly low standards for women, just as much as you have impossibly high standards for men. Well, you're, impossibly, because, your ideals of them anyway, on either side. Well, as far as you're concerned anyway. Because that's what you claim anyway, they're your standards, right? And you both seem to have these, so-called standards, right? And they will control everything you do, but they'll pay for it all, because they've got loads of money and fancy cars. So they don't mind you being a gold digger. And they'd rather you not work, because that's not good enough for them. They will pay for it all. They'll pay for your life. They'll pay for your hair and your makeup. They'll pay for your nails. And they'll pay for all your clothes and your shopping. And all you'll have to do is look good and do as you're told. So you'll never have to think again. You never have to worry about anything again. You never have to be independent again. So yeah, maybe what should happen is, instead of looking at the normal men, like the real men, you so-called feminists, the toxic ones that are out there claiming that men don't understand and what men are evil, and all those that are setting the movement back, all you women out there that are claiming to be feminists, who are setting these standards for men, all these gold diggers out there, right, have the solution. Do have the solution. You lot should date the Andrew Tates of the world. Because the Andrew Tates of the world have all the money. And they have their standards for women, just as you have your standards for men. And your standards for men coincide with their standards for women. Because they hate women. They hate women as much as you hate men. You know? And also, your love of money, you know, your love of not paying for anything, your hatred for independence, and your, you know, everything else that you expect a man to do for you, they will do. And all they ask in return is that you not think, you let them control you, and you'll be fine. So you'll work perfectly together. You'll hate each other forever because you hate men and they hate you. You hate either gender. Either gender hates each other. They've got lots of money. So the gold digging thing will be fine. And all you have to do is obey him. And he'll give it to you. It'll be perfect. And you can leave all the good men to the real women, the real feminists, the women out there that trust men, respect men, that even though real men and women do have issues, mental health, disabilities, other issues, God knows what else, nobody's perfect, none of us are God's gift, we all have our own whatevers, but at least we have the ability to respect each other and learn and at least want to try and find a good guy. And guys want to try and find a good woman. So you toxic people, the Andrew Tates, they're the toxic men from the men's rights movement, and you're the toxic feminists. You can shit on all the decent men, they'll shit on all the decent women, and you two, you movements should merge, date each other, and never be on the internet again until you deal with your shit, which you never will, because you can date each other. You'll be really happy. Or you can deal with your shit, deal with your trauma, get over yourselves, find the truth of what feminism actually stands for. Stop the war that you're waging on both sides. I'm targeting the toxic feminists because they are everywhere. The Andrew Tates, I don't see them so much. There are not quite so many of those around that I have personally seen. You women, you toxic feminists out there, you're everywhere. You don't seem to be able to help yourselves. You throw yourselves out there every 5 fucking seconds. You're everywhere. So either you lot deal with your shit, get over yourselves, find the real meaning of what feminism actually stands for, learn that equality, independence, and standing together, treating the issue, not the gender, is the way forward. You can't move forward waging a war, separating each other. We can only move forward if we stand together, men and women. And treat the issue. None of us are perfect. We all do wrong things. We're all shitty people somewhere along the line. We've all made mistakes. And there are evil people on both sides of the coin. Both sides. And all the while, you fucking toxic feminists are out there spouting your fucking rhetoric, waging this war. It will never end. Ever. It has to. So either you deal with your shit, stop the war, find your peace, learn to love yourself, because you obviously don't, and if you do, there's something seriously wrong here, and stand with the truth and work towards finding a solution to the social issues and help treat them regardless of gender, colour, race, anything else, because they don't matter. Or you don't, but stop the rhetoric, stop shitting on men, go find yourself an Andrew Tate and play dumb for the rest of your life and get given everything you ever want. They are your options, because that is what you need. You either need to deal with your shit, get your life together and help the feminist movement, actually help it by helping the men's rights movement, because that's what we do. We work together, both movements, side by side, to treat the issue, not the gender. Or you find yourself an Andrew Tate. There are many of them out there. You play dumb, you play stupid, you obey him, and you get everything you can ever wish for. And you will live a happy, gold diggery life. I don't even know if gold diggery is a word, but it is now. Because he will literally hand you every single penny you will ever want, as long as you obey him, play dumb and play stupid. And he will control you, because that's what Andrew Tates of this world does. But they're your options. Stop waging this war. We don't need people like you pretending to be feminists, because you're not. You're angry ass women. You're angry bitches. That's all you are. You're waging a war on men because you're angry ass women who don't want to deal with their own shit. Join the movement properly. Find your place. Deal with your shit. Find your peace. And help us bring true equality to this world, so that our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, cousins, male and female, grow up in peace, grow up happy, grow up capable and strong, able to express themselves and get the help they need, regardless of gender. Because if you're not willing to do that, if you don't care about men, if you don't care about your sons or your grandsons or your nephews or your cousins' sons, or, if you don't care whether they end up in pain, mentally, emotionally, if you don't care about that, if you don't care if they get help with their issues, if you don't care about their mental health, their well-being and their welfare, there's something wrong. So either get help for your issues, deal with your shit, deal with your trauma, actually help the feminist movement, because you're not feminists. You're toxic feminists. You're feminists. Stop calling every single woman who cares about men a pick me, choose me. Fucking hell. Seriously, you're not 12. We're not in the playground anymore. Grow the fuck up. It's 2022. We are not here to wage war on the genders. We're not here to wage war on any gender. We're here to treat the issue. We have equality. We're here to treat the issue. The fact that we still have to treat the gender because of people like you is pathetic and sick. So deal with your trauma, deal with your issues. Or find yourselves Andrew Tates and leave the rest of the fucking world alone. Because we don't need it. We just do not need people like you. We just don't. You're not helping anybody. And you're certainly not helping women. The fact that you think you're better than everybody else is pathetic. So deal with it. Find an Andrew Tate. Dumb yourself down. Be obedient. Yeah, come little doggy. He'll help you with that. He'll make sure you come. Yeah. Put a little collar on. And he'll give you all the money that you want. All the cars. Make sure you get your nails done and your hair. Buy you pretty presents. And you'll obey him. Deal with yourself. Or stay off the fucking internet. Stop this war. It's over. We're done. It's been over. We can't keep this. Just can't keep doing it. The war's over. It's been over. It's never been there. You created a war that was never there. So you want to play doggy? Find an Andrew Tate. He'll buy you everything you ever wanted. You'll obey him. He'll control you. You'll be very happy. You're not helping women. You're hurting us. Deal with your shit. Stay out of the feminist movement. Your choice. Seriously. You're not helping. At all. I'm just one person that you won't listen to. That nobody cares about. And all this shit's just in my head. And I'll put this up and nobody will give a shit. And that's fine. I don't care. But I had to say it. Because you toxic feminists don't help anybody. You just don't. And I had to say it. And I've probably said it 100 times because my head's a bit like that. And I repeat shit over and over again until it makes sense enough in my head. And yeah. So yeah. I know that by the time I post this, nobody will give a shit and everyone will ignore it. And that's fine. I don't care. And you know why I don't care? Because all I wanted to do was say it. because otherwise this conversation will just go round and round in my head. And it'll annoy me. So, yeah, now I've said it. Bye.